Okay, so, but when you hear that as a passport bro, what can we as passport bros do to potentially fix that? Now, Theo, this might sound crazy, Theo. This might sound crazy, Theo, but I'm proposing for 1 million black men, okay, 1 million black passport bros to head over to South Korea separately, and another 1 million to Japan separately to impregnate Japanese women, brother, and South Korean women, and save the population, brother. Brother, is that the way forward? Is that possible, brother? Can we get 1 million passports for each country?
No,
why not?
No, because they already have their own population, and these women aren't going to become prolific just because they have black men running down the street. It's not going to happen. They're still going to maintain the same way of thinking about it. So I was just thinking about this actually as I was walking my dogs tonight, and a lot of Western women get into this trap of reading like romance novels or going to Instagram and thinking that they're going to have this spectacular life. And, you know, of course, if they could get, you know, Brad Pitt, Idris Elba, something like that, they would want to have children suddenly, miraculously, right? But as Kevin Samuels would always say to them, who are you going to be in the marriage? And she would still be the low-level woman that she was before. So she wouldn't be the kind of woman that the men would want. So just because you have these foreigners suddenly coming into Tokyo doesn't mean that the women, a lot of these women who aren't having children, that they would suddenly become really prolific or really want to have kids, and then also that they would be the kind of wife that the men would want. A lot of these women would be exactly hardcore Japanese in that they would take the man's salary and they wouldn't put out after they have their child, their first child. And they would be presenting these passport bros with the exact same problem that the Japanese men have. So it wouldn't solve anything. It would just give a few, few places you'd have a temporary population increase, but that would go away over a long period of time, or actually within 10 years. What I say is that people who want children should go out and meet people who also want children, and they have to get together. So as long as they can get together and have children, we're fine. It's something that the government, like the Japanese government said, I remember before I left, they said they can't stop the women who don't want to have children, they can't do anything to influence that. But if the women who want children, if they would have just one more child, the population problem would cease. And that's actually true. So what's necessary to do is find the woman. Okay, if you're I'm very prolific. Find the women who are also prolific and make 1 or 2 extra children with them. Then it solves the problem. Then we have something.
Interesting, bro. So now, from a passport bro perspective, right, brother, right? Okay. Do you think that, when we go over to Japan and South Korea, particularly with this current population issue, do you think that we are at a disadvantage, brother? Particularly passports that want to build families with Japanese women and South Korean women. You're essentially walking into a lion's den, brother. So do we lose hope in that area of the world, brother, or do we have to just seek out very well women that want kids, brother? But also to add to that question, brother, right? So would you say that we have to also, right, make sure that we are well equipped financially to enable her to be a housewife? Because obviously, if you're earning the same salary as a Japanese dude, right, and you come in the picture, she ain't gonna, pop out babies, right? But if you have the resources, brother, right, and you tell her, listen, I can look after you and the kids, I need you to be a housewife, and you can pop out babies with her, brother. Is that the way forward, brother?
Okay, so let me comment on this one. The Japanese men make more than enough money to make huge families. If you would compare Japanese men's current salary to the salary post World War II, Japanese men are freaking rich. Like, do you really want to go to post World War II where at least 95% of the population, well, next 90% of the population, didn't have sewer systems and air conditioning? Let's just go there. Let's just do air conditioning. Like, they don't have, they got air conditioning like crazy in Japan right now. You don't, just imagine just no air conditioning at all. Japanese men can pay for a good life compared, historically speaking, to what they had before. So it's the expectation on the woman's part. That's all. If she lowers her, if she basically, like, if she met Ichiro, for example, and she just said, "Hey, look, I want this future with you, Ichiro. I want our children," and then she just went to town with this guy, and didn't stop writing him. Well, then there'd be 3 kids, and boom, there it is. We've got no problem. So it's really the emphasis on the woman on this part, of what's actually possible to do in the future. If they change, and if they decide that they want to have the children, good. But a lot of them are not, and I think that's unfortunate. You got the Philippines, and you have Thailand. We have college educated women who gladly will have 6 kids and work because she values her children. Same thing again. I'm from Illinois. You got plenty of people there who can have 4 or 5 kids and be college educated and work. It's not an issue. So it's the value of the people. So if you get the passport bros coming in, I mean, some of them will make kids, but a lot of the women still won't, because they're wanting to be in a central location inside the city, which makes no sense. And they're dealing with vanity. And vanity in this case makes absolutely no sense at all. Your pride and your happiness should be with your family, not where you're not where you live and how many people look at you and notice where you are and how many likes you get on Instagram. That's the issue. So, though that makes you die out after. You think about your DNA line survived World War II. Years of feudal wars in Japan, invasions here and there. Pestilence, death, destruction. It survived all that, but it couldn't survive Instagram and living in central Tokyo. I mean, that's on you, honey. That's what I gotta say. That's your issue. Nobody else's issue. The government did their job in actually making a very good society, a prosperous society. I would say it's because of they got oceans around them, so you can't just walk in and become an illegal alien. So it's easy for Latinos to come to the United States and for Arabs to come to Europe, and then you don't have Europeans wanting to go to the Middle East, and you don't have Americans wanting to go to South America. So because of that, the population tends to be one way. How are you going to get to Japan? You have to fly there most of the time, so that the ports are easy to maintain. It's like they have firewalls. You can have traffic routed to one area, so you can do your traffic inspection and your policy. Whereas the American and European borders are largely porous in comparison. So, yeah, if you can't have illegals coming in mass numbers, what are you going to do? Like,
that's my
South
point,
Korea,
Phil, right? That's
South Korea is a function.
So that means, Phil, right? We got to get 1 million black men over to Japan and South Korea. But you mentioned illegal immigration and people not coming in. Then, brother, hold on, Phil. We got to book 1 million flights for Japan and South Korea, right? 1 million flights, right? In American airports, UK airports, Canadian airports. Get 1 million brothers over there to, so the population, bro. Again, but it's down to a numbers issue. all they need is brothers, and brothers are happy to do so. If press one in the chat if you want to be a part of the million black men to go over to South Korea and Japan.
You're gonna have a 900,000 deportations real quick. That's what's gonna happen, and then you'll have another year from that. You'll have 50,000 deportations, and then you'll have maybe 25,000 in each country who actually are assimilated into their culture and go through the process. That's how that one's gonna work out, because those two countries, look, you can't get Chinese to assimilate. So if they're not going to do it, how are you thinking to get black men to do that in mass numbers? It ain't going to happen. There's no way. It has to change the values of the people. That's what it really comes down to. That's it. I'm like, you have enough. You have more than enough. Don't you want to share? No, I want more. Okay, well, then you have an issue. I'd rather share.
Awesome. Same here, man. Like, have plenty of kids, have a family, have a wife. That's how life should be, man. Hopefully, Japan and South Korea gets their ish together, because it's just, or else we're gonna get. I'm gonna run up a million black men, right, to save both nations. I don't care. So
those planes would be shut down, man. They'd have rocket launchers out there, just shoot them down one after another. There's no way. If you get like 2 million European, like you got white boys coming out, they do the same thing. They just shoot the planes down. It's like, you get out of here. Like, okay, so U.S. military isn't gonna be able to make those kind of numbers, and they're there on the bases. It's the population of the people. They're not doing it. They have to decide what they want, and they have to decide what they want in terms of building a family and building a nation. And if they're not doing that, that's on them. So if they choose something different, then they're not going to have the family and they're not going to have a strong nation. They need to make that decision.